Hi, and congratulations on completing week 5. As you can see, I'm still in the lobby in Wichita, but I wanted to just touch on a couple of quick points on your assignments this week. If we look at assignment 5.2, which is where I'll start because I have this up, you can see one student, Joyce, I thought did an outstanding job, and as you look at moving forward, anytime there's an assignment where you compare two different ideas, or in this case, 3 different ideas, a chart is just a very clear, very easy way to look at it, especially on a difficult topic like diachronic and synchronic interpretations, which is something that most of you may not have really known about until this week. So when you look at diachronic, Joyce puts first a definition where she says critical method that focuses on the origin, source, and development of the text. The goal of diachronic analysis is the reconstruction of the historical course along which the text reached their final forms. So when we look at this type of analysis, diachronic and synchronic, we're really looking at the text. Diachronic, across time, is trying to understand how we got from the original author to our current canon. What happened and what is involved in the text between those 2 points. Then synchronic says, I don't really care how it was formed. I am going to analyze what is before me, and what is before me is the canonical form of the Bible. So it's a critical method which focuses on the meaning of the text in its present canonical form. Generally, this method focuses primarily on the text itself without giving much attention to outside information. Now, when we look at evangelical interpretation, oftentimes it is synchronic heavy, which is we look at the text and tend to put blinders on and say, we don't care how it got here. This is God's Word. This is what we have in front of us. Therefore, we will use it. Whereas diachronic is typically non-evangelicals who tend to tear apart the Bible and say, well, you know, there were 1,000 different variants and all these different hands touched it. Therefore, how could it possibly be true? How could it be without error when we see all these differences? And evangelicals have problems with diachronic. Non-evangelicals tend to ignore and call the synchronic simpleton thinking. And so Erickson has tried to meld the two and has actually come up with what is the dominant evangelical academic method, which is the interpretive method is similar to synchronic, but that is also sensitive to the historical and cultural background of the text and respectful of the narrator's authority. So as an academic evangelical, like what I do, we do look at what we have before us, the canonical method, but we also look at the variance over different witnesses, and we definitely look at how the historical background to the text plays into our understanding. So it tries to be a holistic approach, looking at aspects of diachronic, honoring the synchronic, and then coming up with our best understanding. Now, Joyce does a really good job discussing this as she looks at proponents, and then she has some nice engagement with sources. Just a couple of these are not quite 100% right, but in general, she has her documentation correct. Strengths, weaknesses, very well done. Challenges, responses to the critical method, and then finally a quick conclusion, bringing it all together. This is really, to me, a perfect assignment, and I really appreciate the way she put this together, and kudos for her. On this assignment, I think she did a great job, and one that we can all use, not only in this class, but in other classes as you move forward. On a couple quick comments on the other pieces that we had this week. We had a discussion post that did a word study. These were good. I thought that as a whole, the class could have done a little better. And anytime you have a word study, and I know we're looking at words in Ruth, and that's great, but to truly understand how a word is used in Ruth, we should understand how that word is used outside of Ruth within the Bible's canon. So any word study should give at least a couple of sentences, if not a full paragraph, discussing how the word is used outside of Ruth and how that better informs our understanding in Ruth. And as a general rule, the class didn't do that, and I would like to see that in every word study you do from now on. Assignment 5.1, not much to say on that. Folks did a great job picking out characters and did a nice review of what those characters entail. So a good week. I thought there was a couple pieces of room for improvement as you move not only to finish up this class, but as you address similar assignments in the future. Thanks for all the hard work this semester. We're now way past the halfway point and moving into kind of the end pieces of the course. So take a deep breath, and I know weeks 6, 7, and 8 will go by quickly. Have a great day.